Today, guys, like we will cover the MLAG, which is also known as multi-chassis ether channel. Let's first understand, guys, like in the previous class, we only cover the ether channel. So, which means basically like in the previous class, guys, like both the connection, okay, both the connection going to the same device. So, if the both the connection going to the same device, okay, we can configure the ether channel. But in some scenario, guys, like you might be have like the physical scenario like this. So especially, guys, like in the data center, so like all the server, okay, all the server, we always connect the one link to one switch, and the second link we always connect to the second switch, okay. And the reason, guys, like we don't want to connect both the link to the same switch, because let's say if you make the physical scenario like this, if this switch goes down, then we basically lost the redundancy, right? So that's why, guys, like every server, okay, the one connection going to the switch 1 and the other connection going to the switch 2. So this scenario is known as like this triangle, okay. Similarly, guys, you will see this scenario physically, like when we have a core switches, two core switches, and we have access switches. So we'll be terminating the end user. So one access uplink, okay, going to the core 1, and the second uplink going to the core 2. So this is also like a physically the triangle scenario. So in this case, if we want to configure the ether channel, okay, how can we do this? So this is, guys, known as MLAG, okay, multi-chassis ether channel. So I tell you, guys, like you cannot configure the ether channel in this scenario. First, we have some pre-requirement, okay. In order to configure the multi-chassis ether channel, there are some pre-requirement, and if those requirement you are configuring in your network, then after that you will achieve this MLAG configuration. Okay. So in today class, guys, like we'll see, like we'll cover all those pre uh, requirement to configuring the MLAG. The first, guys, like I want to clear you like what is a control plan traffic and what is a data plan traffic. Okay, so you see, like networking always, like you see, like we have this end machine, we have a switches, we have a like a core switches, then we have a maybe router, then we have a ISP, and then we have a server. So there is mainly two type of traffic in networking. So the first traffic, guys, like you see, like the traffic is initiating from the machine and going to this end server, okay. So our network devices, they are coming in the middle, and this traffic is basically we known as end-to-end traffic, or also known as data plan traffic. Okay, so mainly, guys, like we care about this end-to-end traffic, okay, which is also known as data plan traffic. You see, guys, like I will later after this, okay, after explaining this, I will mainly tell you like which switch is basically active for the control plan traffic and which switch is active for the data plan traffic. And to first you need to understand, okay, what is a control plan traffic and what is a data plan traffic. The other traffic you will see in the networking, like you see like the switch sending the traffic, let's say any R packet, any STP hello packet. So this traffic is basically known as local traffic, or this traffic is also known as control plan traffic. Okay, the one is local traffic, like devices sending to each other. Okay, we also called box to box communication, And the other traffic we have like end-to-end communication, okay, which is our data plan traffic. So in order to configure the guys like MLAG, okay, first what we require, okay, we need to synchronize the control plan traffic between the switches. And there are like some feature, okay, which basically doing this. So let's say if we have a physical scenario like this, okay, let's say we have a switch, we have another switch, we have a server perspective, okay, like you see, we have a single server, but by one physical port is going to switch 1 and other port is going to switch 2. And if we synchronizing their control plan traffic, both the switches, then what they switches do, okay, basically they will send the same LACP ID to the server. And server, basically we are fooling the server, okay. Server basically think, okay, we have a, so my both connection is basically connected to the same switch, okay. So this is the like eventually your topology become, okay, once you synchronizing their control plan traffic both the switches. So different switches have different technology to synchronizing the control plan traffic. Like earlier, guys, like we have like the old platform, okay, like 37, 38, 50. These switches support stack feature, okay. Now these days, guys, like we have a switches like a 9200, 9300. They support switch stacking. So basically, guys, like if we have a like this scenario, we need to connect these two switches through via the stack cable, and logically, guys, the switch will become a single switch, and basically, and you will see like when you configuring the stack, I will show you more in detail, guys. When you configuring the stack, in this case, like we have a two switch. One switch is basically active in a control plan, other is standby. And physically, guys, like we will connect the one link to the switch 1 and second to the switch 2. But as both the switches now one control plan, one brain, they will send the same LACP ID to the server. So that is it, okay. The port channel perspective, you don't need to do any special configuration for MLAG. Only you need to combine that their control plan traffic, okay, through stack if you're using this platform. So now these days, guys, like as I told you, these are switches are gone. So we use 9200, 9300, and both the switches support stack, okay. And if we have a scenario like this, like if we're using these kind of switches, let's say on a core, like earlier we use 4500 and 6500, and we have an access switch. So sorry, 4500, we have a 4500 as a core. So this is also like we have a triangle scenario, and we want to configure the Etherchannel, okay. We can combine the control plan traffic of these two switches, okay. Earlier, guys, we had technology like VSS, virtual switch system. But now, as I told you, these switches are gone. Now we have a switches like 9400, 9500, and 9600. They support a feature similar like a VSS. Is called SVL, stack-wise virtual link. I will show you the configuration also. And unfortunately, we cannot do the practical, but today I will cover like from all the theory perspective, as well as like why we require those technologies. So SBL basically like stack wise virtual link is doing the same thing. Okay. On the Nexus guys, like we are not covering the Nexus still. I'm just giving the idea, because when you comparing the thing, okay, you always learn more. Okay. So that's why like on the Nexus, because most of the time those server, those are like installed in the data center, and in the data center we use Nexus switches. Okay. So Nexus also having the same kind of technology which is known as BPC. So basically you are combining the multiple switches and the control plan traffic, okay, and making a single brain, so that like all my devices, okay, they can you can configure in a port channel. Okay. So these are the three pre-requirement. Okay, it depends what switches are using in your network. If you have a triangle scenario and you want to use the ether channel, okay, but before using the ether channel, you need to basically synchronizing their control plan traffic first. So let's like understand these these technology more. Okay. So first, guys, like the main difference between stack and the VSS on BPC. Okay. So stack, guys, you can like, so 9300 they support maximum 8 switches. So maximum, guys, like you will combine 8 switches through the stack cable, okay, and make it one single switch. Okay. So there's a pre-requirement of configuring the MLAG multi-session ether channel. This is the one advantage of stacking. Later on, I will cover like more advantage, but in a stack, we can combine multiple maximum up to 8 switches, okay, and make a one switch. However, on the VSS and BPC side, switches, they only support maximum 2 switches. Okay. So you in BPC and VSS, that means if we have a scenario like this, we have a server, we have a switches, 3 switches, okay, and the server has 3 NIC card. So in this scenario, you cannot configure the MLAG, but if we have a stacking feature, okay, in a stacking feature, yes, we can use the ether channel, okay, because by connecting the stack cable, okay, we can make all the 3 switches as a single switch. In BPC and VSS, this is not possible, because maximum it is only supporting a 2. So that is a limitation of VSS and BPC. So let's see, guys, like first stack. So physically, guys, like you see, so these are the 9300 switches, and if we see, these are like we have a 4 physical switches, and the only thing like you need to configure the stack configuration. Okay, you see these cable, data stack cable, and the way you connect this cable, okay, you see like so every switch has 2 stack port. Okay, so you can start like from anywhere, like if you see this diagram also, so one stack port to second switch stack port, and like this, and then the last port again connect to the back like this, okay, as a ring. Okay, so this is basically what you require to configure the stack. Make sure those cable are properly connected, and once you can connect this stack cable, okay, so this switch port basically start from, let's say, 1.1. Second switch starts from 2/1. So physically, guys, we have like 8 switches, But once you connect this stack cable, okay, logically it become a single switch. Just like like earlier, like we have a like modular switches. Okay, if you know like modular switches like 6500, so we can insert the line card. So let's say this line card port has 48 port and start from 101, and we insert the second line card. Physically, guys, this is a single chassis, okay, single switch, but stack is also kind of providing the same feature, okay. But here, guys, like we have 8 different switches, and through the stack cable we are basically configuring a single switch, okay. Advantage क्या है? One advantage क्या है? You can use MLAG in your scenario. It's easy to manage, okay. आपको you have 8 switches, okay. You don't need to individually log in on the switches. So it's easy to manage, okay. आपको simply इसी single switch को क्या SSH या telnet करना है. Then once you are on the switches, you can configure all the port, okay. And not only you will see the like this is the guys cable known as data stack. We also have a power stack cable. So power stack guy like behind this is the power stack. Again, we will basically create the same ring, okay. So every switch has 2 power stack port. Idea क्या है? Like these are the power supply. यहाँ पे हम switches को क्या power supply देते हैं. And let's say if one switch has lost the power, okay, still through this power stack the switches basically get the power from other switches. So this is how you connect the power stack cable and data stack. And you see, this is the verification command. So as I told you, you don't require any special configuration, okay. Initially, like there is some configuration for stack. I will cover that, okay. But if you see, like once you configure, once you connected all the switches through via this stack cable, okay. So you will see like show switch. This is the verification command, and you see like these are like number who is participating in a stack, and one will you will see the master, which is handling all the control plan traffic. For the data plan, all the switches basically uh, carrying the traffic. Only for the control plan traffic, okay, one is master, other are just member. Like the most of like who is like studying this first time might be confusing what is stacking, okay. But जो those जिन्होंने देखा हुआ might be उनको पहले से पता होगा stacking के क्या benefit है. But main advantage like I'm repeating, one is MLAG. You can use multi-chassis Etherchannel. Second is easy to manage, okay. The earlier guys क्या होता था like before stacking, okay. If you have 8 switches and you need to do SSH to this switch and configure the board, then you need to do SSH, you need to configure the switch port of a second switch, okay. Similarly, you need to do SSH. So individually आपको manage करने पड़ते थे switches, but now these days, okay, everybody using stacking. So as first main advantage क्या है? By combining multiple switches, okay, you can make a single switch. So let's say you have a floor. On that floor, maybe you need to install like 6 switches, okay. So in a switch room, okay, you will configure those 6 switch in a stack so that आप हर एक उन 6 switches के port क्या है easily आप configure कर सकते हो, because all the 6 switches now become a single switch, and you can enable the SSH or telnet, and you can easily manage that all the 6 switches. Any question regarding stacking? I will cover like more advanced thing, but just like a basic current, especially for you. You understand what is stacking?
Yes, yeah, overview पता लग गया मतलब कि
Okay.
कैसे रहता है.
Okay, great. So
सर वन थिंग कि आपने बोला कि आगे सर्वर के साथ इसकी कनेक्टिविटी रहती है तो वो इनपोर्ट्स के साथ थ्रू रहती है.
no. This is the back side. I believe like you never seen a switch. Okay, this is the back side of the switch. The
Okay.
front side, basically we have. If I show you the picture of the switch, okay. So in the front side we have. In the first class, I show you the 9300 picture. Yeah, this is the front side.
Okay.
The front side, like this is the RJ45 Ethernet port, and we connect to the devices. Okay, this is the front side, and today picture that is the back side of the switch. Okay,
Okay.
so back side we have a stack port, we have a console port, we have a management port, we have a power stack port, we have a power supply.
Okay.
And this is the front side. So these are the switches now used in a company. Okay,
The 9,000 switches now they all use these SFPs.
SFP, basically this is used for a uplink. Okay, so
Yeah,
you see
for optical link.
yeah. So the way basically, like, let me show you. Okay, so let's say you use two core switches 9500, and for the access layer you use 9300. So these port will goes to your end machine, like laptop, printer, and any audio video devices. And these port will goes to 9500. Okay, your uplink.
Okay.
So these are like a 40 GB or 100 GB. And on the 9300X model, okay, this port 10 Gbps port. But earlier 9300 they support. So they have a different model. Okay, 9300 some minimum they are supporting 1 Gbps and 10 Gbps also. But these port are basically used for uplink. Okay, uplink किसको बोलते हैं which are going towards to the core.
Okay.
Is there any command to verify the status of the power stack port? Yes, I'm covering that one. So coming back to the stacking, okay, as I told you, we just only cover the basic thing, but there are some command or troubleshooting command in case your stack port is not coming up, or you're getting some issue with the stack. So it's not here. Okay, so this is the command to see the your stack ring port status. So all the command, okay, they start from show switch. So in case if you want to see the status of your power stack, show switch power stack. This is the command, or power stack port. But the point is, like, all the commands start from show switch, then use the question mark. Okay, sometime might be these cables are loose. You can check via this command and make sure all the stack port status should be okay. So this means, guys, like these cable are not properly, might be loose, properly not tight. Okay, so in that case, might be you will see the issue in your stack. So this is a command like show switch stack port summary. Make sure they all are showing status is okay, and the stack of the ring speed should be show full, okay, instead of half. So half, like you will see when you don't see the proper connectivity of your stack cable, and most of the time this is because the connection is loose. So like from last like a 1 year, okay, I'm mostly doing this work, like the physical work a lot. So because I replace so many switches, okay. So this is like what I'm doing, like I'm connecting all the switches in a rack and connecting this stack cable. And I sometimes I also, because uh, like when you're doing a lot of physical work, okay, so there are chances like might be cable are loose or something like that, okay. So obviously once you see like all the switches are showing in a stack, so you will verify those things by using the show command. And one more thing, so for a data stack, you switches are support up to a 8. So 6, 7, 8. However, for the power stack, it only support up to a 4. That means, so this is the one ring. For a power stack, I need to create another ring, okay? So like let's say every switch has 2 power stack port. So this is, let's say, 4 switches. As I told you, for a power stack, the power stack ring only support up to a 4. So I create this ring, then I will create the second ring. Okay, the second ring, my power port is going to this switch, then this port is going to this switch, and this port is going to this switch, and then this go back to the switch one. This is my 2 ring, okay, for the power stack. However, for the data stack, I will create only 1 ring. So let's say these are 2 ports of my data stack. So one goes to switch 2, second switch port goes to switch 3, then switch 3 goes to switch 4, then switch 4 goes to switch 5, switch 5 goes to switch 6, like this, and the last one is goes to like this. So for data stack, we can use only 1 ring. So 9300 support up to 8. Earlier, the 3750, okay, they support up to a 9, or 3850, they support up to a 9. Up to a 9 switches, you can make a single switch, but 9300 newer model, they support maximum 8 in a stack, okay, 8 member in a stack. Clear, Rajat, or doubt?
Clear, sir.
Okay, so there are like some command you need to know. So by default, okay, we don't care, okay, who become a like active switch, okay, or in our switch stack, okay. But if you want to, because physically, guys, like when we install the switches in a rack, so this is my rack in a switch room. Those guys like who don't idea about physically, okay, let me show you some picture, okay, so that. So here, guys, like Karan, like you're here, I seen most of the physical work, okay, you need to do your own. In India, like we have a like layer 1 engineer, layer 2 engineer, layer 3 engineer. So might be sometime like in India, we have a dedicated engineer assigned for the data center. Only they are doing the physical work, okay, because I work in India almost like a 10 year, okay, and I never use physical, I never do the physical work there, okay. I mainly like uh, SSH. I'm most of the time I'm doing the remote work, okay, means like I'm doing SSH and telnet and then doing troubleshooting. But here everything, okay, even if the physical work is also need to do your own, okay. So there is no like any
layers of engineers.
Yes, that's my point. So if I show you like let's say switch rack installation. Images. Switch installation. Okay, so this is like a kind of a rack you will see. So when we purchase the switches, okay, so let me show you this picture. So you see like a, so we need to first connect to the ear. So this is like when you purchase the new switches, okay, you need to connect to the ear. We call switch ear, okay, and then we basically install the switches like this: switch 1, switch 2, switch 3 in the rack. And on the back side we will connect the stack cable, okay, and those are the connection, okay, coming from the patch panel. So this is basically like a team who is doing the wire work. So if you see like this patch panel, okay, this is basically they are laying the cables off, and those cables connection going to the like where the users sit, okay, on the जहाँ पे desk होते हैं उनके, तो वहाँ पे RJ45 का connection होता है. ओनली थिंग गाइस, यहाँ पे हर एक एवरी लाइक पैच पैनल पोर्ट नंबर क्या होता है, मतलब लेबल होता है जो कि आइडेंटिफाई करता है सेम नंबर. यू विल सी लाइक जो उनके डेस्क होते हैं उन डेस्क पे क्या है नंबर वहां पे लिखे होते हैं. तो जो ये एंड टू एंड जो ये इसे क्या कहते हैं, पैच पैनल कहते हैं. तो ये पैच पैनल से हम यहाँ से स्विच लगाते हैं और उस तरफ से वो ये पैच पैनल केबल के थ्रू जो यहाँ पे यूजर बैठते हैं वहां पे उनके डेस्क पे लगा होता है पोर्ट. बेसिकली उनको RJ45 पोर्ट असाइन होते हैं. Okay, so this is how basically like we connect the cable to the switches, and on the back side we will give like all the power supply and connecting the uh, stack cable and power stack cable. So so the point is like the reason I show you this picture, okay, in the real world, okay, like when we installing the switches in a rack, so let's say this is my switch 1, switch 2, switch 3, switch 4, up to let's say up to 8 switches, okay, and all the 8 switches, okay, I connected the stack cable and make it one. Make sure when we connecting the 8 switches, okay, the first switch in a stack must be show as a switch number 1. So that means like all the port start from 1/01, and second switch must be in a stack should be showing as a switch number 2. That means this switch port will start from 2/. The third switch must be show as a. The reason why, let's say if any other engineer, okay, any data center engineer, okay, going to that switch room, and he always count the switch from the top, okay, like switch 1, switch 2, switch 3. Maybe we will ask them, hey, on switch 3, can you use this port number, let's say port number 30. So it's easy to identify, okay, it's easy to identify them physically, okay, because he always count the switch from the top up. So he's assuming like the top one is switch 1, second is switch 2, and third is switch 3, and we want to use the port number 3013, and we want to do the configuration on this port and make sure that the new connection, okay, it will connect to the right switch. So in that case, guys, obviously this is you will always do like, well, when first time, basically this is known as renumbering, okay. This is like you always like identified, okay, like when first time you are installing the switches in a rack and you know that like this should be the switch number 1, this should be the switch number 2. By default, guys, like when you connect the cable, okay, it doesn't not necessary like जब आप physically आप ऐसे connect कर रहे हो switch 1 2 और उनका जो number है वो same होगा, no. So you will identified like this should be my switch number 1. So you see, like you will figure out based on the serial number. So every like switch, we have a sticker, and over on that sticker we have a serial number. So if this is my switch 1 in a rack, I will make this switch as a switch 1. And the command is like you can do the renumbering. This is the command. So let's say right now I connect the stack cable, and by default this switch number is showing in a stack switch 5. That means all of the port basically of the switch, okay, showing starting from 5. But as we know, this should be our switch 1. So we can run the command like switch 5, and it should be renumbered to 1. Okay, so this is very important. Okay, so make sure in the real world, okay, the way we install the switches in a rack, like in order. So starting from top, it should be switch number 1, switch number 2. Then later on, like when any other engineer like enter the switch room, and maybe we are like troubleshooting with him, okay, remotely, and we are asking, hey, if you see the switch number 3 in a rack, that's a switch number 3, and I have done the configuration on 30/25, can you connect this cable to on this port? Okay. So by default, guys, like when we connected the stack cable, the switch basically assign any number, and eventually you will see like 8 switches, okay? But it's not necessary they are in sequence order, okay? You need to definitely change the number, okay, as per your like a, you will see like a serial number, okay, serial number. So this should be your switch number 1, 2, 3, or 4, 5.
And sir, how to assign as a master? How would we know which one is not?
So let's say you want to make the switch 1 as a master, so you will change the priority. Okay. So by default, the switch has which is the highest priority, that become the master. And the command is, let's say this is my switch 1, and I want to make this switch as a master. So switch 1 priority, and you can give the highest priority, which is 50. So this command, like you will do later on when you figure out this renumbering. So obviously, like first time, like when we install this part, like we don't do like a daily basis, okay? Because this is only we mainly focus on when we're doing the first time installation on the inner rack, okay? That's why like those who are working, okay, कभी आपने ये command use करी है stacking में? Have you used this command, Mahesh, like Rajat or Vishal?
No, didn't get a chance to configure stack from scratch.
Yeah, because this is like only, as I told you, when we're doing the first time installation, okay, in a rack, let's say switch replacement. So in your company, like, are you still using the old platform or new platform? Karan, sorry, Mahesh, Rajat.
We have Cisco 9200 Catalyst.
Yes, sir, 9200.
Right. So yeah, 9200, right? Because जो other switches है वो आपके क्या है, obsolete हो चुके हैं. ऐसा नहीं है हर कंपनी उस पे आ गई है, but still I see like some जो कंपनी के पास बजट नहीं है, still they are using might be the old switches, okay? So this is basically the stacking. Another command, guy, like I want to show you this provision command. This command is also very useful. So as I told you, like just I replace the switches, okay, in my company. So initially, guys, like you see, like I they give me this task, okay, Gurpreet, we need to like replace all the switches, okay. So earlier, guy, like we were using the switches, okay, which is 3850, and the replacement of those 3850, okay, which is 9300 access. So earlier they were also using the stack, okay. So I let's say I was doing the replacement of like I started with one floor, okay. Let's say then 17th floor, okay. So earlier, guy, like on the 17th floor, we have 8 switches. So what I did, okay, I took the one switch 9300X and I configure all the port. So this like earlier switch stack has 8 switch member, but when I was doing the configuration on this new switches, okay, I only took one switch, and then how can I configure the configuration of my other member? Because अभी तो मैंने इसके ऊपर कोई स्टैक केबल कनेक्ट ही नहीं करी, मेरे पास बस एक सिंगल स्विच है. I can tell this switch, hey, I'm going to add more switches in a stack. I will then on this switch, okay, I can use this command, okay, switch to provision. I'm going to like add one more switch, similarly up to 8. Then this switch allow me to do the configuration in advance for all the other port, okay. So I can configure the port from 201 to 48. I can configure the port 301 to 48 port and up to 8 switches. Only if I tell this switch, hey, I'm going to provision more switches in a stack. You understand what I'm saying, guys? अगर आप let's suppose आपने एक switch लिया, एडवांस में आप बाकी सारे मेंबर की कॉन्फ़िगरेशन कैसे कर सकते हो, क्योंकि अभी आपने स्टैक केबल कनेक्ट ही नहीं करी. Then you can tell this switch, okay, in future I'm going to add more switches in a stack. Allow me to do the configuration in advance for those member. To do that, first we need to configure this command, okay, the provision command. Clear? मैंने आपको अनम्यूट कर रखा है, आप पूछ सकते हो क्वेश्चन.
सर एक क्वेश्चन है कि जब आपने नेटवर्क अपग्रेड किया और 3800 से 9300 वाले सीरीज वाले लगाए, तो हमें अकेला स्विच सारा पूरा कॉन्फ़िगर करना पड़ता है, सारे पोर्ट्स वैसे ही डिफाइन करने पड़ते हैं, या हम एज अ बैकअप कुछ ट्रांसफर कर सकते हैं?
So in my case, okay, I simply didn't like take the configuration and copy and paste, okay. The reason why, क्योंकि जो earlier port थे वो 1 Gbps के थे old switches के ऊपर, और जो 9300 पे थे वो सारे पोर्ट 10 GB के थे. मैंने क्या करा, पहले कॉन्फ़िगरेशन लिया नोटपैड पे, और पहले सबके जैसे पोर्ट जो 1 Gbps के थे वो स्टार्ट हो रहे थे लाइक इंटरफेस गीगाबिट. मैंने जो normally like I use Notepad++, okay. So I used Notepad++. So I simply said, तो इस केस में like अगर मेरे सारे पोर्ट इंटरफेस गीगाबिट से स्टार्ट हो रहे हैं, जैसे गीगा 1 and interface giga/1.2. So I simply took this number, okay, gigabit, GE control H, then इसको replace कर दिया TE से.
Oh, okay.
That means like this will now become 10 gigabit interface. Then simply like all the configuration from port perspective, okay, 1 to 48, I just do copy and paste.
Okay, वो इजी रह गया, ठीक है.
Okay. So yeah, that is it regarding the today class. tomorrow we will continue. Okay, we will continue with like these higher platform. These platform guys, they don't support stacking. So in switches के ऊपर the feature they introduce, okay, which is known as stack wise virtual or SVL. It's just like a VSS. Okay. So tomorrow, guys, like we will continue the class with this topic. Okay.
Hello.
Yes, Rajat.
Sir, मेरी एक query है. So
Mhm.
this is regarding the licenses for the Cisco router.
Mm-hmm.
So जैसे हमारी एक साइट है, वो मतलब चाह रहे हैं कि वो लिंक अपग्रेड कर ले 200 Mbps.
Mm-hmm.
ओके, पर राउटर का भी थ्रूपुट होता है, राइट?
Right.
जैसे
Mm-hmm.
तो उस केस पे हम परफॉर्मेंस लाइसेंस बाय करेंगे, राइट? जैसे सिस्को ISR 4331 का मैक्सिमम थ्रूपुट है 100 Mbps.
100 Mbps. Okay. There is one
और
command.
वो
There is one command.
हम्म
आपने चेक कर लिया उस command के through maximum
राइट
100.
राइट कम हाँ हाँ, एक कमांड आएगा, शो हार्डवेयर प्लेटफॉर्म करके कुछ.
हाँ. तो उससे चेक कर
तो
लिया मैक्सिमम 100 ही है, मतलब कई बार क्या होता है
हाँ हाँ, उसमें
जैसे
100 ही शो हो रहा था सर.
क्योंकि मैंने कई राउटर पे देखा है, जैसे अगर 500 Mbps है बाय डिफॉल्ट 200 होता है, लेकिन आप कमांड के थ्रू इंक्रीज भी कर सकते हो मतलब. तो
ये
ओके.
पर जैसे उसमें 100 Mbps दिखा रहा है, तो इस केस में जैसे वो 200 Mbps का लिंक ले रहा है, तो इस केस में तो आई गेस हमें परफॉर्मेंस लाइसेंस ही बाय करना पड़ेगा ना, जिससे हमारा थ्रूपुट बढ़ जाए वेंडर से.
नहीं, अगर आप कह रहे हो उस हार्डवेयर का कहते होते हैं 100 Mbps ही थ्रूपुट है, तो वो लाइसेंस से कैसे बढ़ जाएगा मेरे को, क्योंकि आई सीन लाइक सेम सिनेरियो वन ऑफ माय क्लाइंट. ओके, तो जो जिसको मैं सपोर्ट प्रोवाइड करता हूँ उसको भी सेम इशू आया था. तो
हम्म
इवेंचुअली फिर उन्होंने हार्डवेयर रिप्लेस करा था जो कि उनको हाई थ्रूपुट दे सके मतलब.
मतलब सिस्को ने मेंशन तो किया हुआ है, मतलब आपको थ्रूपुट बढ़ाना है तो लाइसेंस अवेलेबल है.
ओके, मे बी लाइक
हम्म
वो जो लाइसेंस आपने परचेज करा होगा हार्डवेयर में कैपेबिलिटी तो है थ्रूपुट देने की, बट जो पहले वाला लाइसेंस होगा उस पे नहीं होगा. कुड भी, ये दोनों चीजें डिपेंड करती हैं. बट अगर जैसे मैंने पहले से एडवांस ले रखा है, हाई एडवांस लेवल का लाइसेंस ले रखा है और हार्डवेयर की थ्रूपुट उतनी है, तो उस केस में जैसे मेरे को याद है, तो हमने तो फिर राउटर ही चेंज करा था, और राउटर
हम्म
जो चेंज करा था उसके उसके बाद ही हमें हायर थ्रूपुट मिली थी मतलब. ठीक है. तो तेरे केस में क्या है, मेरे को चेक करना पड़ेगा ऑब्वियसली. इस जो आपका मॉडल है इसके पूरे डॉक्यूमेंट चेक करो, और
हम्म
दैट मीन्स क्या हार्डवेयर कैपेबल है हाई उसको थ्रूपुट ज्यादा देने के लिए, बट सम लाइक योर लाइसेंस की वजह से रिस्ट्रिक्शन लगी हुई है, दैट्स व्हाई तेरे
हम्म
पास 100 Mbps आ रही
हम्म.
है. करेक्ट.
ठीक है सर, एक बार मैं
मतलब
डॉक्यूमेंटेशन रेट.
दोनों ही चीजें मैटर करती हैं, ऐसा नहीं है सिंपली
हम्म
कि लाइसेंस पे भी डिपेंड करता है, हार्डवेयर के ऊपर भी डिपेंड करता है मतलब.
हम्म.
एक बार इसका
ठीक है सर.
इस राउटर का
हम्म
डॉक्यूमेंट चेक कर, और अगर हार्डवेयर में कैपेबिलिटी हुई तो मतलब वो मैक्सिमम 100 Mbps ही दे सकता है, फिर अकेला लाइसेंस भी क्या करेगा.
राइट राइट. ठीक है सर.
तो और कुछ कोई क्वेश्चन, एनी क्वेश्चन? ओके, देन सी यू टुमारो गाइस, सी यू टुमारो एट द सेम टाइम. ओके. Sure. Thank you. Okay. Bye.
ओके, थैंक यू.